In the heart of a civilization that prided itself on life, order, and conquest lay an equally profound and intricate relationship with death. For the Romans, the end of life was not merely a conclusion, but a critical transition, a journey fraught with ritual, fear, and hope. To die well, to be remembered, was the final ambition of every Roman. When a person took their last breath, the room fell silent, but not for long. The closest relative would press a final kiss to their lips, an attempt to capture the departing soul, the anima. The deceased's name would be called out loudly, a ritual known as the conclamatio, a final desperate check for any sign of life. Once death was confirmed, the body was washed, anointed with oils, and dressed in its finest attire. A coin was often placed in the mouth or on the eyes, payment for Charon, the ferryman who would guide the soul across the river Styx into the underworld. The body was then laid out on a funeral couch, the lectus funebris, in the atrium of the home, with their feet pointing towards the door. This vigil, lasting up to a week, allowed family, friends, and clients to pay their respects. A son or close relative would deliver the funeral oration, the Laudatio Funebri, recounting the life, career, and virtues of the departed. This was more than just a eulogy. It was a political and social statement, reinforcing the family's legacy and its contribution to Rome. The final rite was either cremation or inhumation. Cremation was more common for centuries, especially among the upper classes. The body was placed on a pyre, the rogus, built of wood. As the flames rose, family members would avert their eyes, a sign of respect. Perfumes were thrown into the fire, and when it finally died down, the ashes and bone fragments were collected, washed with wine, and placed in a funerary urn. These urns, made of marble, glass, or terracotta, were then placed in a tomb. Roman tombs were not hidden away. They lined the major roads leading out of the city, like the Appian Way. They were monuments to memory, designed to be seen. From simple underground chambers called columbaria, with niches for hundreds of urns, to massive ornate mausoleums for powerful families, these cities of the dead ensured that one's name and legacy would not be forgotten by the living. Inscriptions on the tombs often spoke directly to the traveler. Stop, traveler, and read, they might say, before detailing the life of the person within. What did the Romans believe happened after all this? Their vision of the afterlife was complex and often bleak, heavily influenced by Greek mythology. The underworld, ruled by Pluto and Proserpina, was a shadowy gray realm. Most souls, the manes, were thought to lead a listless, forgettable existence. Only the truly heroic might find their way to the Elysian fields, a paradise of eternal spring. The truly wicked were sent to Tartarus for eternal punishment. This uncertain fate led to a deep-seated need for remembrance. The Romans believed that the spirits of the dead, the daimones, required sustenance from the living. Festivals like the Parentalia in February were dedicated to honoring family ancestors. Families would visit the tombs, share a ritual meal, and leave offerings of food and wine, ensuring the dead were not hungry, not forgotten, and would remain benevolent spirits. But there was another, darker side to their beliefs. The lemures were restless, malevolent ghosts of those who had died violently or without proper burial rites. During the festival of Lemuria in May, the head of the household would perform rituals at midnight, walking barefoot through the house, throwing black beans over his shoulder and chanting to appease and expel these spirits from the home. The cult of the ancestors was central to Roman identity. Every noble house had a shrine, the lararium, where wax masks of ancestors were kept. These weren't just mementos. They were a tangible link to the family's past greatness and a constant reminder of the standard one had to live up to. To be forgotten was the truest form of death. As the Roman Empire evolved, so too did its beliefs. Mystery cults from the East, like the cult of Isis or Mithras, offered a more personal and hopeful vision of the afterlife, promising salvation and a blessed existence beyond the grave. And eventually, a new faith, Christianity, would emerge, offering a radical promise of resurrection and eternal life that would forever change the Western world's relationship with death. But the legacy of Roman death rituals endures. In their grand processions, their roadside tombs, and their desperate need to be remembered, we see a civilization grappling with the ultimate human question. They teach us that in the face of oblivion, our greatest hope is to live a life worthy of a story that continues to be told long after our own funeral pyre has turned to ash. Thank you for watching. If you found this journey into the Roman world of death and memory fascinating, please consider liking this video and subscribing for more stories from the ancient world.